Hello, welcome to my presentation about using gamification to teach students about assistive technology and troubleshooting that technology. My name is Sarah, and I currently work as a teacher consultant for students who are deaf and hard of hearing in mainstream classrooms. So I support those students, and I also support their teachers. And here are some of my students and their parents. Most of my students use assistive listening technology called FM systems. And what it is it's a receiver and a transmitter. The teacher wears this device right here is the FM, and it's the transmitter. And anything they say goes into the microphone, so you can see. And then whatever they say goes directly into the child's hearing aids or cochlear implant. So makes listening in a noisy classroom a little bit easier for my students. Often, though, that these FM systems tend to not work or there's issues and the teachers don't really know how to fix it, and I'm called in a lot for this. So it would be really great if my students could kind of help me out and troubleshoot their own equipment. So in order to do this, the first lesson is I will create a instructional Google slide multimedia presentation, much like this, and share it with them. In the presentation, there will be videos and an if-then chart that I created. So some examples of the YouTube videos that I use with teachers and students already. Here's one from the company that produces the FM system, and there's no sound, but it's really simple, and it shows you exactly, there's different topics. This one is just turning it on and connecting it, so it shows you step by step how to turn it on, what the screen will look like, and what buttons to push. So I like these videos. I think they're really clear. And I think that my students would like them too. And then I also created a Google Doc for them to follow along the presentation and to keep notes. So it has some things. If your system won't turn on, then in the presentation they'll fill in the blank, which is battery. Replace the battery. So they'll go through, and this will kind of be their scaffolding graphic organizer as well. Moving on, obviously students will need to access Google Drive for the document and the presentation. Hopefully they have pretty high-speed internet, and the teachers will also have to have a basic knowledge of how the FM system works as well for this student to do this lesson. Students will have to be able to copy text from a presentation, and this is actually an IEP goal for one of my students, hand-eye coordination. This might be a challenge for some of my students, but we'll see how it goes. They'll at least need to know how to turn on their FM system, which they all basically do, and they'll have to navigate Google Slides. So in all, students will review all the teacher-made videos and step-by-step how-to with the issues of the FM. There will be 3 main issues, and then after watching the videos, they'll have their FM system to manipulate so they can practice along, and they'll also fill in the if-then chart, and then they'll use that in the next lesson. So the next lesson is putting those skills that they learned in lesson 1 into practice. So what they're going to do is, using their if-then chart, they're going to play a multiple choice game on Kahoot. So this is a fun website I like to use. I even use it in my adult education classes. Adults even like to play this. But it's just a fun question-answer game. So students will be given a question, and they'll have to pick the best answer on Kahoot. And I just wanted to speed it along so you can kind of see. It's using a device, students will access the game. They'll also be allowed to use the if-then chart, and their scores will be posted on my wiki page. Now, as a final real-life assessment, I will work with the classroom teacher to sabotage their FM system in some way, and then I will have the teacher come to the student and ask them if they could try to see if they could fix it before calling me. So that'll be really interesting to see what will happen with that. For this lesson, the student will need internet access again, and also a device. The teacher will probably be my ally in recording them fixing the FM system or just saying that yes, they were able to fix it. The students will have to be able to read the questions and answers on Kahoot, and have to choose the best answer. And this is going to be a little bit harder for my younger students who are a little impulsive and may not want to take the time to read each question. They'll have to understand how the FM system works and to use their chart, if then chart, to help them out. There's some advantages to these lesson plans. I think that gamification is really motivating to a lot of students. So they'll want to play the game, but yet also they'll gain knowledge at the same time. Hopefully, students would be more self-sufficient in being able to fix their FM systems. And because of this, they'll be confident and they'll feel like an expert and that they can actually assist their teacher with something. In the end, hopefully, this will reduce the amount of time I'm called out to travel to classrooms when it's unnecessary, and students will feel more confident and have a better understanding of how their FM actually works. Some disadvantages to this lesson plan, of course, using technology. There may always be an issue. Maybe the internet wouldn't be fast enough, or my students wouldn't have access to a device. Working so closely with my students, it's in their buildings, it's good to know which students have what, so I can always prepare myself for that. Also, students might become frustrated with the game if they're lower elementary. I might have to do couple different versions of the game, maybe one for my middle high school age and then one for my elementary age students. And then this is the conclusion of my lessons. So I hope that you liked it, and actually I'm going to try to implement this lesson this school year. So I will see how it goes. Thanks for listening.